Here.
Mr. Predis? Mr. Euclideo?
Here.
Ms. Fapiano? Ms. Hona here. Mr. Kisco?
Here.
Ms. Richardson?
Here.
Ms. Toder, not here. Mr. Barlow? Ms. Boisvert? Ms. Ferguson? Ms.
Here.
Harold? Ms. Klemazewski? Ms. Lebomsky?
Here.
Ms. Schulte? Mayor Carbone? Okay.
Thank you, Ellen. We now have a review of contract for proprietary items and services item on the agenda. Sue, I think that's your turn.
Yeah, I can jump in there. As we talked about the contract, last time it seemed that there was a request from one of the board members to add to what is on page 3. Allie, if you could bring that up. And I understand that some of you can't see this, so I'm just gonna focus in on what that part says. It says, it shall be the responsibility of the contractor to ensure that all personnel are familiar with the legal requirements, including without limitation rules, regulations, policy, which the board might publish relative to performance of the services. And then it goes into, there we go, for each employee of the contractor who performs services for the board involving direct student contact, the contractor shall comply with the requirements of section 10-222C of the Connecticut General Statutes, as amended by Public Act 16-67 and 17-68. So this refers to the state background checks. This refers to history, DCF, criminal records, all of those things. So should the contractor receive any information that an employee of the contractor performing services under this agreement has a criminal record, which could make the performing of services under this agreement a criminal, make that individual unfit for an assignment involving contact with children, is on the sex offender registry or its equivalent, or has a record of abuse, neglect, the contractor shall not assign or maintain, as applicable, the assignment of the individual to perform services under this agreement. So in this case, I think it's very, very clear that the onus is on the contractor to do those checks, to make sure that they are ensuring whoever is working with our children is doing so and making sure that our students are protected. We actually have our own policy, board policy 1027, which we use, and that's also page 3, Allie. Sorry, shifting to another document, which is, this particular policy is for school volunteers, student interns, and other non-employees. And it happens to also be on page 3 that Ellie's going to show you. And this is for folks who chaperone the Washington, D.C. field trip. They do, they perform their tutoring for after school for our students. The June Ziner tutors, for example, all go through this type of screening. So if we look at upon receipt of DCF abuse and neglect registry results, basically we do, okay, a background check. And when any of these things come up, obviously we will deem that those people should not be near our children, and we will take the necessary actions to ensure that that does not happen. Now, this registry comes back to the district. When I talked with the attorneys again today, they felt like what the language in the contract is coverage enough. If the board wants further coverage, we could certainly ask Yonder to go through what's called the secure volunteer process, which is a background through the Background Investigation Bureau, and that takes 1 to 2 days to get the information, and then the district would have that information, not just the contractor. But we are covered under our own policy, and we are covered also under the contract as the draft written by Shipman for us. So that was the only issue that came up the other night. In addition to adding a notary, I asked Jessica Ritter what she thought about adding a notary at the end of this document, and she really did not feel like that was necessary. But those were the two items that came up the other night.
Okay, so everything we talked about has been taken care of, including Ellen caught a date. Has that date been changed in this copy?
It will be changed in the agreement, yes. So Benji knows that. We talked about that, and that will be reissued because it is part of Exhibit A. So thanks for pointing that out, Alan. I did let him know that.
Okay, so right now, to keep the discussion going, I'm looking for a motion to approve this contract.
So moved.
Gary, moving.
Second, Fiona.
Fiona, seconding. Okay, discussion.
The only question I have is, it appears that the contract covers, if I'm understanding it correctly, exactly what we need on the background check. So there isn't a need to do anything else, right?
That is correct. Shipman felt that it was very comprehensive.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, further discussion. Seeing as how I am chairing this meeting, I will do what the chair usually does on the board, and that's not vote except to break a tie, which means, Fiona, you will get to vote tonight. Because
Yay.
of the format we're using, Ellen, would you please call the roll? We'll have a roll call vote on
Oh,
this.
sure. Ms. Capabianca,
Yes,
Mr. Corey,
Yes.
Mr. Euclid,
Yes.
Ms. Hona, yes. Mr. Kisco, oh no. Ms. Richardson,
You're muted, Jess. Jess.
Jess Richardson, can you text me or John?
Ally, is there some way you can help her? No.
Not
No.
really. Let
Okay.
me, let me see, let me try something.
Jess says yes. Got a text and a sorry.
It's okay. It's a workaround. It's good.
Okay, so that's the roll, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, what's the tabulation, please?
5 yes.
5
Unanimous.
yes. Okay, I believe that completes the business that we call this meeting for. So I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Gary to move,
I'll
Second.
second.
2 seconds. Ed first, I heard. And
Okay, Ed.
all those in favor?
Aye.
aye.
At 5:11.
Okay, thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much for interrupting your